My trial tip is how to go into an expert deposition with the right tools and attitude to succeed in making a deposition work for you for purposes of a Daubert motion, so hopefully you won't ever get to the trial phase in the case. I repeatedly hear from young associates how excited they are to take their first deposition of an expert and what a challenge that will be and how they cannot wait to cross-examine that expert witness. But I have found over the years that the best approach to take, and the one that is most successful, at least for me, is to go into a deposition of an expert not with an attitude that I will cross-examine them and kill them, because you in all likelihood won't, but rather with the mindset of an investigative reporter who is merely there to gather the facts, the information, the opinions, the bases for the opinion, all avenues that you can find to gather information that can allow you to fulfill your obligation to represent your client with respect to making the best case on a Daubert motion. One thing I always do when I go into an expert deposition is I pull up the Daubert factors and I look at them again and I think about them in great detail in relation to the particular science or methodology or whatever it may be that the expert is testifying about. You have to give that some thought so you know what kinds of questions to ask. You can't just ask them, what are your opinions and what did you use to get to those opinions? You have to know the details, the minutiae of information about scientific methodology that can allow you to ask not only what did you do, what did you consider, but what things didn't you do? And to ask those questions in a way that pinpoints an expert and keeps them from being able to maneuver their position down the road. You have to understand the science, understand the methodology, and ask pointed questions. Did you control for X? Did you control for Y? How much of products X did you use in your scientific experiment? Did you control for a variable of the wind, the sun, the moon, whatever it may be? The more specifically prepared you are for those Daubert discussions, asked in a candid, scientific, matter-of-fact, I am an investigative reporter manner, you will get experts to make admissions about what they did, what they didn't do, what they relied upon, and what they did not rely upon. And usually through that exercise, I end up with lots and lots of useful testimony from an expert who now has been boxed in with nowhere to go at the end of the day once that Daubert motion is filed. Additionally, I think it's very, very important as you approach your expert is an additional factor would be to go in and not just have them qualify themselves. That's the other mistake that I often see made. Oh, here's your bio. Let me hear everything you've ever done on your bio. So such that if that expert got hit by a bus tomorrow, they may well be able to qualify them at trial anyway because you've given them enough to do it with. It wastes your client's time and money to go through that exercise. Leave that to opposing counsel at trial. Instead, use that bio as another tool to get at Daubert and to get at finding things that you can later use and hold in your back pocket for trial. Cases that the experts worked on, find out what positions they took, find out when they did their own research, whether it was peer-reviewed or not, find out whether the expert has specific methodologies that they've tested personally or not, or are they relying on other methodologies that they didn't use for your particular case or for the research that related to your particular case. If you go in with this kind of mindset and attitude that you are gathering up information for your Daubert motion and also things to hold in your back pocket at trial for the time when cross-examination is ripe, then you will find that you are probably more successful than not at obtaining the outcome that you want to achieve for your client.